Every day I wake up and I'm almost in that same panic as the first day she went missing. We miss her. We miss her so much.
Well, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this. It doesn't get any easier day to day, does it?
No, it doesn't, sir.
And let me ask you, we've talked to so many young girls on this stage where I've said, you're talking to these people online, you don't know who they are. They're obviously trying to get you to come out, sneak out of the house, go out your window. And if and when you do, you don't know if they're going to be who they say they are. You don't know what their intentions are. Did you ever talk to Kristen about who she was talking to online? Did you see any red flags early on?
Yes, I did. When she turned 15, her friends began to change. And she started skipping school and all of that. But, at that point, she hadn't met these traffickers. I believe this was just the grooming process.
What was it that you think caused her to go from being one personality and one type of daughter and morph into a second one? What caused it?
Gaslighting.
Okay, you think somebody was in her ear?
Yes.
Really talking to her. You can come, you don't have to be under your mother's thumb. You can do whatever you want to do, rich, famous, live a fast life, have a good time.
Yes, sir.
They were telling her all of this.
Yes.
All right. Now, did she threaten to run away before she did?
No.
So you just woke up, she was gone.
Yes.
When you found her and she came home after 2 weeks, you found her on this street in Houston that's notorious for this. Did you find her or did the police find her?
Houston Police Department picked her up.
Okay, and called you?
Yes.
And when you went down there and picked her up, what was her attitude?
She was crying. She was scared. It had been a week and a half since I had seen her. She had clearly lost weight. Her nails were this long. I don't know. And she was screaming, "You don't know what they made me do." And she had $4,000 cash on her.
Wow. Now, Betty, you found 44 out of 45 cases.
Correct.
That you've gone looking for. The one
Correct.
you haven't found yet is Kristen.
It's Kristen.
And the possibility is that she's no longer alive.
Yes, of course.
And that's a possibility, right?
It's a very real possibility, yes.
Yeah. And you had a text exchange with a stranger, and you get a text that said, "Did you find your daughter?" You said, "Who is this?" The stranger said, "I have your daughter. Don't go to the police." You said, "Who is this? What's her name?" "I won't if you call me right now." And then this stranger said, "She won't know me, but I know your name." You said, "Do you have my daughter?" Stranger said, "Robyn." "Yes." So this person knew your name, and do you think this was somebody in the group of traffickers that had your daughter?
I'm not sure. I've gotten a lot of ransom messages, crazy people messages. I mean, you wouldn't believe the influx of messages that a missing person or a missing family gets.
Yeah, the trolls are
Yes, they're
absurd.
they're disgusting.
Yeah, there is a group of people that were involved in the taking of Kristen.
Correct.
And the one that has been convicted, and that person is Arian Dupree Jackson, and he's been convicted of trafficking of a minor with forced fraud and coercion, slavery and involuntary servitude, and he's been sentenced to 27 years in the federal penitentiary, and he had known associates.
Correct.
You are suspicious of the man that last saw her.
Yeah.
He's not a citizen.
No, correct. He's not a citizen. I've spoken with him personally numerous times, spoken with this person face to face. He was willing to let me download his entire phone and do a forensic analysis on this phone. The issue that we ran into is that he actually put a forensic software on his phone. So that way, those particular dates that we know without a doubt from phone records that he had talked to Kristen, he forensically deleted those, including pictures, text messages, locations. So all of that was purposely deleted.
Well, Dasia, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
Yeah. Now, how long were you in this horrific situation?
I was in the trafficking industry for about 4 years.
4 years.
Yes, sir.
And you were 10th grade. What was the first thing that happened when you finally left, made contact with these people, and they took control of you? What was the first things that they did?
My trafficker.
Uh-huh.
They pretty much took me through like a grooming stage. It was a lot of romantic dates, taking me out the shop, kind of like buying my love, bribing. It was like a bribing phase for me in the beginning.
And then how did it turn when it turned where they said, okay, that was fun, but now how did that corner turn?
I fell in love with my trafficker, and I believe they knew that I was kind of pretty much like they got me, so it made them comfortable enough to present it. And in the place that I was in, I loved them. It was easy for me to be like, okay, I'll do it, whatever, we'll do it.
And how long was it before it got ugly?
Oh, not too long. It was about a month. It was within a month it got ugly. Those things happen like this.
You said that there were times where you'd have to work up to 72 hours to make quotas or you'd be beaten.
Yeah.
And was there a point at that time where you were conflicted in saying, I convinced myself that I loved him, but I'm working 72 hours selling my body. That's not love?
Yeah.
Even at a young age, did that seem inconsistent to you?
Yeah, I was kind of like the girlfriend that gets irritated with a boyfriend. Like, this is not okay. My feet was hurting. I was always hungry. And I didn't like the fact that the dates were buying me meals and my trafficker boyfriend man wasn't. Like, he wasn't doing what a man's supposed to do. Pretty much, I thought he was supposed to be that husband that I grew up and around. Like, you see your family and that's what it is. It just wasn't that.
Yeah. What pushed you over the line where you took the chance of saying to someone at the grocery store, I'm captive here, I need help?
I didn't want to raise my kid in the industry because my kid was around the other girls I was working with. He had him around other people. Just, I didn't want my kid in it. And I knew that was going to be like it. I knew it was it. I had been getting beat that whole week. I got rescued. Me and another young lady, we had gotten beaten that whole entire week. It was like a marathon of ass whoopings. And I went on and sacrificed. I took the risk, and I did what I had to do to get myself out.
It took a long time for some of these people to be brought to justice. Was that an important day for you?
Yeah, it was. I got the call bright and early when the sun was rising, and it was during the holidays. It was almost Christmas. And I had been waiting for so long, not necessarily for them to just go to jail, but just for justice, just for them to go through their own consequences and karma, because they didn't just hurt me. It was other girls that were involved, other young ladies who had their own children that were in the industry with me that were going through something. And so I felt like what I had to do wasn't just for me. And if I didn't get it done with my business, my nonprofit, everybody's going to be looking at me like, you were in my shoes. Why aren't you doing anything about it?
And there were times that there were 30 girls coming and going around your child, right?
Yeah, so many, in and out.
We hope, we pray that Robyn's daughter, Kristen, is out there, that she's still alive, that she's in this dark world somehow, some way. And having been in that situation, how important would it be to you to know that there was somebody that had never given up, that was still looking for you, that would look until they found you or answers every day until they found you or at least answers, that there was somebody that cared, that was looking for you?
Good and a little bit fearful. My mom was like Robyn. She was out there looking for me every day. My mom was finding my back page ads, the online escort sites, different things like that. And she kept record of all of that. And I didn't know a lot of that stuff was going on. My mom popped up one day at the door banging. And me and the girls didn't let her in because we were scared that our trafficker was going to pull up right then and knock my mom off, like literally kill her. And it feels good to know that somebody never gives up because, like Betty said, we won't leave home because we don't feel a lot of that love. So we go to these traffickers thinking they're going to love us, and knowing that you have somebody out there that is still looking for you other than your trafficker on some creepy stuff, it feels good. It is a little bit scary because sometimes it does put a hindrance on us. Me and my mom talked about it many times. Sometimes if she'll pop up or call, it would get me beat up because my trafficker had rules, no communication with family. The family doesn't need to know what you're doing. And it would cause me to get more beatings. And so, but most of the time, overall, it was great to know.
So, John, what are you two up to?
Wow, I think more than anything else, we're living in solidarity for sexual assault survivors of all kinds. The show is very personal to me today because even before I was at Michigan, I suffered sexual trafficking within my own hometown. And so I just have this unique perspective that no survivor needs to suffer in silence, and partnering with Trinea and what we're doing today helps us just further the cause.
Yeah, and Trinea, you two are a pretty unlikely duo fighting for sexual assault survivors. I mean, you're both athletes and all, but I think it's absolutely wonderful and inspirational what you're doing. But how did the two of you connect and decide to do this? I know you've been very inspirational to John.
Yeah, so as a survivor of sexual assault, I had no idea what I didn't know until I started working in sexual violence, and really understanding that most survivors suffer in silence and suffer alone, and they don't understand that there are others out there because it is in a silent space. It is in a terrified space. And I just want to say to those survivors there and to the parents, we stand with you. Because this is, you don't have to be in this alone. We are here for you, to stand with you.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Why is that so important to you?
I think more than anything else, there's so many survivors that suffer in silence, and we, Trinea and I, Avalon, and really all of our partners, you including, really want to speak up, speak out in not only solidarity, but just have our voices be heard. Because you never know when that voice is going to help or save a life.
It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, along the coast, the middle of the United States, where you wouldn't think these things occur. It happens everywhere, in every situation and circumstance. Nobody is protected from this. Parents ask me sometimes, how much privacy do we give our children? How much privacy are they entitled to? When it comes to the internet and who they're talking to, zero.
Yep.
Absolute 100% zero. You should know who your kids are talking to, whatever you have to do that. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.